my job, as I said, is a history teacher. So when I started at Swinton High School, my directive was purely to improve humanities teaching at the Swinton High School and to improve the history department. But we had a very forward-thinking head teacher, a national leader of education, who said, Paul, no one else has been able to do it. You need to sort IT out. I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of pounds in the last 5 years, and none of it works. You're the third or fourth person I've made try to sort it out in the last 3 years. None of them have passed their performance management, Paul. 2 of them have left. So you've got 6 months to sort it out, or else. So it was a little bit daunting. I did have somebody in my corner. My father had worked for IBM for 30 years, and so he knew a little bit about computing. But we also had a very big managed service provider who was looming over us in terms of their control over our network, and also deemed for closure as well. So the Swinton High School should not be here at the moment. It should have been amalgamated with 2 other high schools. But we converted to an academy, a standalone academy, in 2011, which means we have relative autonomy in this changing educational landscape. As soon as you don't become good anymore, you become requires improvement. People like you to join these multi-academy trusts. So we're still trying to move forward. And one way we think we can be innovative is through an innovative IT provider, which is what I believe I stumbled across last year. So when I arrived, my first lesson involved me trying to log into the network with a laptop, only to find that the wireless network could not be found, and my entire lesson stalled in the first 5 minutes, and I was greeted by all these children going, "Who are you? We don't know who you are. We don't want to learn history." And then I was like, well, I can't actually teach you history because I don't have any lesson to teach you because I can't get on the wireless network. So guess what my first spending was? A brand new wireless network. So once we've managed to do that, and we've managed to allow teachers to actually teach, we decided that we needed a little bit more of a dynamic plan other than just allowing us to get on a wireless network. So we said we wanted a state-of-the-art provision. We are different in Salford. There's 96 schools in Salford. There's a good number of high schools. We're one of the only schools that does not have a brand new building. We have a refurbished building. So our school celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2012, and we're a mishmash of old primary schools, secondary modern schools, part of the grammar, a bit of a refurb, and a technology block which was built over a mine shaft which you had to pour about 4,000 litres of concrete, 4,000 gallons of concrete into it to make sure it didn't collapse down it. So we're a bit unusual, and people go to the shiny new school and say, I want my children to go there. They have open plan classrooms, which we're not saying they don't work, but most of the schools that had them in Salford have now put up partition walls. State-of-the-art technology and things. We do have a lot of good things, but people don't necessarily see past the window dressing. So we wanted something that said Swinton High School is different, it's better than the other schools in Salford. So the Think IT structure framework came along at the right time. We said we wanted an efficient, workable wireless infrastructure so we can get every single child on the wireless network at one point in time, and we can do that on any device. We wanted a new IT provider because we're in a BSF style contract, which the KPIs across all 96 schools, if it wasn't working for us, it really meant that it didn't matter to them so much because they weren't losing money across the whole of the contract. And the head teacher we had at the time, as a new head teacher, said Swinton High School must be top of the tree in terms of what we're doing. We must have the best and most innovative solution around. So I went looking for it. Now, I don't know if any of you have ever tried to figure out what going out to ODU tender means, but just logging onto their website and registering us so that people could see us, it was quite a task, and understanding the framework was quite difficult. So trying to replace a huge corporation who's running your BSF style contract is extremely difficult, and also realising the cost of it across a school. We're talking, for us as a small school, over £700,000 over the cost of the contract, which means you have to go out to tender. There are schools in the northwest whose contract is worth over £1 million over 5 years. Now, schools are inevitably at the moment facing downward rolls in terms of numbers and then upward rolls because of the amount of pupils coming through primary schools. £1 million over 5 years and across 96 schools in Salford is an awful lot of money. And at the end of the day, if we can save any sort of money, we save teachers' jobs, we save quality of education. And if the Conservative Party are anything to go about, we need extra money to buy more textbooks, because that's what they want to see in classrooms, which helps me because I write history textbooks, I don't mind that. They don't want to see money being wasted on innovation at the expense of you know, cultural learning and historical learning and maths and things like that. So they want to see money coming into schools and being spent properly. And one of the things they said was a massive problem for schools was schools who purchased IT on long-term leases, or schools who purchased managed print services, and a lot of teachers' jobs, because a lot of teachers are being made redundant, were being lost because of spending in other areas. So that was one of the directives as well, to save money but get better. And that's quite a difficult thing to do. So we decided we would go out to tender, but it was a daunting process. So my job was to go out to tender. Now, I've never done anything like that at all. So we put together a mini competition to see what the market was like. And there was a chance email, I think I sent it to, there's lots of broadband consortiums across the country. I sent one to our most local one, and I got an email back from Chris at E2BN, said, they can't provide it, but we can. We've got a framework. We had talked to BT about a similar idea, but we went with E2BN, and they pitched alongside 4 other IT providers, big and small, large corporations, local companies, and the governors eventually chose E2BN to provide our new managed service. Now, the framework, if anybody is tasked with buying IT, is a godsend, because they do it all for you. So I don't know how your schools work, but many schools have a network manager, have IT technicians, have a business manager, and then have teachers. And they have quite an expensive structure. And the network manager would inevitably have to go out and buy technology, buy servers, buy wireless infrastructure, and put it all into school and make it work. We don't have that luxury. We have one IT technician who cheaped from Salford Borough Council to the managed service provider and will come back to us in September. We have nobody in the building who has any IT knowledge above my knowledge, which is, you know, a history teacher's IT knowledge, plus a little bit, which I beg, borrow and share of different people. So the framework was an innovation for us, because we could go to it and say, this is what we want, provide it for us. And they have done. E2BN had provided exactly what we wanted within the time frame, with a lot of innovative providers who I would have had to coordinate myself. Now, anybody who's an assistant head teacher or deputy head teacher in a school, or a teacher in the school, will know that there's an awful lot of your time in a week goes on teaching, quite rightly. So the 3 or 4 hours per week which I could dedicate to it would never be enough to coordinate 5 or 6 or 7 different providers. So we got value for money. We've maintained costs against a rising role. So with a BSF style contract, the costs would have gone up. They're cost neutral across 5 years or 4 years. So we saved money, but we've got innovation. And I would not have been able to find the innovation or get it to work myself. And the team in school would definitely not have been able to get it to work. So this is an example. We said we want Office 365. So, you know, it's nothing radical, but in order for it to get it to work in our school would have been quite a shift in terms of our thinking. So we have Office 365 now in school 3 months before the start of our Think IT contract officially, and staff are using it. So they all have a brand new email address, they have unlimited storage, they do file sharing. That's live in school now, and that's an innovation. And we've had no complaints about it, which is an innovation as well. Okay. We can now actively collaborate on a piece of software called Airhead, which you'll be able to see today. Now, for teachers who still write in a traditional planner, does anybody write in a traditional planner? 5 lessons, you write on it and it says page 16 of the textbook, and then below it says see previous lesson. That's what lots of teachers write in planners. On Airhead, we can now collaboratively plan. We can share lessons, we can stream video, we can share resources, and then we can differentiate with pupils as well, so we can organise intervention by allocating them particular lessons. Now, I didn't even know that existed. It was presented to us as a school through the framework. And the good thing about it is it works as well. So it pulls data from SIMS, it looks at your pupil role, it looks at your class roles, it looks at who's teaching who, it allocates them a particular lesson, and then it locks the child down to that particular lesson for that entire lesson. So if you're on a laptop or an iPad or a desktop, all they see is my history lesson. with my videos, my PowerPoints, my Word documents, my internet links, my past exam papers, and the children can open up what they want to at their own pace. I can direct them on iPads, on mobile phones, on laptop computers, on desktops, whatever I want to do, but they're stuck on that for the entire lesson. Also, innovatively, if I want them to use one of these, there's lots of teachers afraid of mobile phones in classrooms. They can get my lesson on their mobile phone and I can see what they're doing on their mobile phone during my lesson as well, which is nice. Because at the end of the day, you don't know whether they're doing what you want them to do if they're all on lots of different devices. And that was given to us as well. I didn't know that it existed. So that's a product. It's through the network and it's through Novus setting up the network for us in a particular way. But also, it's through a product called Mobile Guardian, which I had no idea existed either. So what I'm trying to get across here is they give you the technology which will work and integrate it seamlessly into one package, and you pay for the package and then they make it work for you, which is an awful lot different from what we've had previously. Previously it was me on the phone saying this doesn't work, it needs to be sorted, and it was a cost implication. The cost across this whole framework is set in stone for the length of the contract and will get the innovation. So is there another school in Salford which can use legacy computers 10 years old, connect them to the network, not have to do much IT buying for the next 5 years? Possibly not. So are they going to remain cost neutral across that contract? Definitely not. And are they going to have the technology which works, like we've seen in the previous presentation, but works properly and the pupils are used to it and it enhances learning rather than detracts from learning? Definitely not. We will be the only school in Salford that has an innovative solution from September. And the good thing about it is children and parents will be able to work on it at home, anytime, on any device, whenever they want to, at their own pace, which when inevitably the dreaded Ofsted come through the doors into the building between October and December of next year, when we expect them, we hope to be able to say that pupils have got lessons which are absolutely 100% set on their level, their start points and their expected end points. And that we've got that from the Think IT framework. So it's well worth it going to Think IT if you're thinking in the next few years that your contract will expire with a managed service provider or anybody in particular, and just ask them to provide a solution for you and a cost line to show a comparison between what you traditionally get, which is fairly prohibitive, and something which will inevitably grow with all the magnificent presenters and examples of technology here, which they integrate for you into one service and one price. And that's what I've been asked to talk to you about today. It will transform Swinton High School's IT provision. Whether it transforms learning is yet to be seen, but the teachers are receptive to it, the governing body are very much receptive to it, and every time somebody comes into Swinton, they want to know about it, and that's got to be good for any school. Okay, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.